Okay, so after thinking a bit, I decided to do a video in a little short review on each of them on movies based off TV shows. Sure, there have been some good ones, but there are always the bad ones. So anyway, I'm not calling. I'm Data007, and I'm here to talk about best and worst movies based off TV shows. Now, just a fair warning, one of these choices is gonna probably get me hate mail, so just be aware of that. So viewer discretion is kind of advised. Okay, first on my list I have MASH the movie. Now, MASH the TV show was amazing, funny, and is really family friendly. Can that be said for the movie? No. The movie is for adults. It's not for kids. But it is certainly one of the best out of this entire genre. So if you ever get the chance, and sit down and watch it. Next on my list is Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible is easily my favorite out of all of them. Sure, there were a few differences from the show, including the characters, but that was fine. I've come to realize sometimes when you have a series show, their names are not always going to be the same. And Tom Cruise, this is his best, if not his best movie made in his career. Here, everything it's suspenseful, it has action, it's great. Next we move on to Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels, the movie, is undoubtedly the worst one I have seen. The story is stupid, the acting is bleh, and the thing is, I can sit through it every time. I can't figure out the reason why. I can't quite put my finger on it. The show was spectacular. In fact, it's classic in its own rights. Now we move on to Starsky and Hutch. Starsky and Hutch, I've seen the show enough to know what it's like. Can that be said for the movie? Well, I will tell you, it's not perfect. It's nothing terrible either. So it's not perfect, but it's certainly not terrible either. And the one thing that concerned me was Ben Stiller playing as Starsky, because I didn't think he was quite right for the role, though he does have the hair for it, sometimes. But anyhow, he proved me wrong with his performance. Some of the things were off, but those I can easily get past. So this is definitely one of the ones worth sitting down and watching. Now we move on to Dukes of Hazzard. Dukes of Hazzard is undoubtedly on the brink of being right up with Charlie's Angels. It is terrible. And it's completely embarrassing as well. Well, and you may say, what is it that it did wrong? And the answer is a lot. For one, the TV series was good and is family friendly and tame as a sitcom about moonshiners could be. Not quite a sitcom, but whatever. With this movie, they amped up everything to adult humor and to things to an unbelievable extent. And and Jessica Simpson, I absolutely hated as the role of Daisy Duke. She does not give that great of a performance, and when does she ever in any of her roles in movies? And the rest of the cast is completely uninterested in their performances. They don't even try. And there are some things that they changed from the show that just piss me off. For one, Daisy Duke is nothing but a mindless slut in this movie. And they have one scene where Uncle Jesse is bombing police cars. Cars with, what are they called, Russian cocktails? Because he's a moonshiner. He like puts flaming rags in a moonshine jug and just throws it on the road. And trust me, neither of the antagonists are in this movie are the least bit memorable. This movie should never have been made to this extent. It is so bad. Next we move on to, surprisingly, the best out of all of them, which is Star Trek. Now, there are a couple movies, at least in a lot of people's opinion, that are flat out that were flat out bad and were a disgrace. The first one being, actually the first movie in general. Star Trek, the motion picture, well, I guess they were trying to write it like the show to keep the feel there, but the thing is, it was too much of a singular plot that was fit for a half-hour show than for a 2-hour movie. Plus, shots take way too long to the point where you just want to go, and it's boring. It's boring beyond belief. Then the other bad one is actually Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Good grief. Now, some people may not have had a problem with this one, but if you want to know what it did wrong, let's just say this. Everything on it came out just absolutely just off and wrong. For example, it's more campy and humorous than any of the others. It comes off more like a parody, but with all the same actors. And what could cause something like this? Well, it's William Shatner as the writer and director. It seems when he always writes and directs something, it always turns out weird for some reason. And so that can be said with this, is that it just came off a bit wrong. Next, we move on to probably one of the most controversial picks, as I warned you about, is 21 Jump Street. What, you didn't know this was based off a TV series? Well, it cannot be any more different. Why? Because the TV series was aimed toward teenagers, I believe. And I honestly have not seen too much of the original show, but I know it to an extent that this movie is completely off from its source material. It's changed into one of those vulgar comedies, which you need more than just vulgar humor, than to make an actually funny and enjoyable movie. That's basically where 21 Jump Street fails at. It would have worked if it was a standalone movie, but this is a what is it? TV show adaptation. So, and I know this one has its share of fans, so I'm trying to be nice as possible. But then we get the big stinker called 22 Jump Street. This one is absolutely and despite with the vulgar humor, it's not. These jokes are not even good in this one. It is just bad to an unbelievable extent. The only humorous part is this one scene at the credits, which I won't spoil. But for those of you who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So 21 Jump Street, it was a big hit and miss in my opinion. But if you like it, that's fine. I respect you for that. Next we move on to the Brady Bunch movie. This movie is undoubtedly way off. For one, it's one of the strangest adaptations I've ever seen in my life. In fact, it seems like everything in this movie is just off to a unbelievable extent. And let's face it, it could have been a lot worse though. And then we have Bewitched the movie. Bewitched is undoubtedly bad, both in story and they put in stars like Will Ferrell, which makes the movie like 10 times worse for me. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like some of Will Ferrell's work, but most of it is just too crude for my opinion, or at least for my tastes. Now this one he tries to be something else, but the thing is, when it comes to non-vulgar humor, he just downright sucks at it. But I will admit, the two lead roles gave a very good performance, but that doesn't change the fact that the story and everything is an absolute mess. Well, everyone, that's all I can talk about right now. Be sure to leave me a comment below, like, subscribe, and favorite. Goodbye.